Welcome everybody to our Green Acres. I'm so glad you came over to our channel today. And if you are new to my channel, I want to introduce myself. My name is Teresa. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how we can make some really cute, primitive, shabby chic little fabric Christmas trees. I'm also going to flip a couple of little yard sale items. I'm going to make some Christmas decor from some scrap wood I have around the house. And I'm also going to show y'all some projects that I'm going to make that are Pinterest inspired. And throughout the video, I'm also going to share with y'all a fun Christmas in July collaboration that I'm doing with some other YouTube creators that I think you'll really want to go over and check out their channels. We've got a lot of good little Christmas videos out for y'all, so I hope y'all enjoy the video today. And as always, I appreciate y'all for coming over to my channel and for watching. Enjoy the video, y'all. If you haven't joined my Facebook home decor page, I'd love for you to go over and join it, and also go over and follow me on Pinterest and Instagram. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I'd love for you to, and also hit that notification bell so you'll be notified each time I upload a video. Thanks so much. Okay, y'all, let's get started. Project number one is going to be like, I'm going to make a primitive, shabby chic style Christmas tree. And we're going to make it out of a coffee bean bag, and we're going to make it out of these. I don't know if these are candlesticks. The lady I bought them from said they were bobbins, and it has bobbins on the bottom of it, like, you know, thread bobbins. But it looked like they were candlesticks at one time too, because of that little metal in the top. Well, two of them I didn't like the color of, so I painted them white, and these are going to be the base for my tree. But I'm taking a large coffee bean bag, and I purchased several of these a while back at a local store that we have in our area, and I paid $2 a bag, and you get a ton of fabric off of these. Now, the first thing you want to do to get your pattern for your tree is, I'm not going to cut out a pattern. I'm just going to go on my fabric. I folded it over in the area that I want to make, you know, my top and my bottom. You're going to make a top and a bottom, but I just wanted to get my ruler. You want to cut trays at a slant and get the size of the tree that you want. If you want them shorter, if you want them taller. Now this one, I'm making a large tree. Now this is just going to make one, like a front or a back, and since it's got the writing on it, this is going to be my front. Now there is my pattern. Now you can lay that down now on your bottom piece, and that's what you're going to use now for your pattern. And you just want to pin it together, and you're just going to cut around it, or you can go back and trace around it if you want to. Once I pinned it down, I felt like it was in place good, so I just went and I just cut, and then you'll have a back. Now, I don't know if you've ever tried to wash burlap, but I'm going to wash this in the wash machine, but I'm going to let you know it makes a mess. It sheds all over the place. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch it up along the sides on my sewing machine. And of course, I'm going to leave the bottom open because that's where we're going to go in and add the stuffing. You can always too, if you don't have a sewing machine, or if you don't know how to sew, or if you don't like to sew, you can also use hot glue and glue the sides. I've done that many a times, because for the longest time I thought my sewing machine was broke, but I got it back out one day and tried it, and I don't know, it must have just malfunctioned one day. But anyway, I'm going to sew these. And once you sew these and you've got a good stitch on your sides, then when you go to wash it, it will come out and it's going to ravel. But it's only going to ravel to the point of where you've stitched it. But sometimes if you put burlap in the wash machine and you don't have a stitch or anything on those edges, it will pretty much just kind of it deteriorates, and the washing machine just comes all apart. But I do like the washed look of it because it softens it up and it kind of fades it out, and it makes it look older and more rustic. Now that I've got it sewed up on both sides, this is what it looks like, and I love that writing on it. But see how dark it is, and it's real stiff? Well, we're about to throw it in the wash machine, and it's going to be amazing how it's going to come out. And this is how it comes out. And see how frazzly it looks? It looks almost like, when you take it out, it's like, oh my goodness, there's a gorilla in the washing machine. But I basically just took it out of the washing machine after it washed, and then I put it in the dryer, and this is what it looks like when you get it out of the dryer. Of course, you just want to go around and you want to trim it up really good so it don't look like a gorilla anymore, but it's going to look more like a Christmas tree. But I think these turned out really cute because I love primitive type things. And of course, everybody knows I love Shabby Chic. But these were a lot of fun to make, and they're really easy. So now I'm just going to take some old, this is filler from an old pillow, and I keep this on hand all the time. And you just want to stuff it, and you don't want to stuff it, where it's, real firm or stuff, but just enough to keep it shaped. Now I'm going to take one of those little bobbins, and I put a little bit of styrofoam in it, and I'm going to put a wooden dowel in it. That way, when I put my tree on that base, I'll have that little dowel up in my tree, and that will kind of hold it up and give it some support. Now I just stick that up, and it goes directly to the top point of my tree, so it fit perfect. Now I'm just going to secure it down at the bottom with some hot glue. I'm going to seal it up, and I'm going to glue it to my base really good, and that's all you do to this. Now you can add any kind of embellishment to this now. You can add, bows, ribbons. I'm going to show you the options that I'm going to use of how I've made bows in other videos, and I'm going to add some of those to it. And I'm going to add a bow. I make 2 of these little trees, and on this one I'm showing you how to make a really easy bow out of some more of that washed burlap that come out really raveled, and it just looks really rustic. And I just basically, you just cinch it up in the center, you tie it off with some twine, and I'm just adding a little bit of some Christmas garland in it just to give it more of that little Christmas vibe. And the thing about these little fabric trees, I don't hot glue this little bow on. I can just take some straight pins and apply it on there. And that way you can take your things off and you can change them out. And I want to take a minute to let y'all know that I'm in a collaboration today with several other great YouTube creators. It's hosted by Crafty Leanie, so make sure to go over and check out her channel. And also Nadia over at DIY Nadia. So make sure to go out and check out their channels. I'm going to have their links listed down below. I'm also collaborating with Catherine at A Perfect Place to Start, Megan with the Crafty Queen, and also Deneen from Design by D9. So make sure to go out and check out all these great channels. They've all got videos for Christmas in July. I'm going to link everything down below in my description box. Okay, y'all, let's make some more Christmas trees. Project number 2 is going to be just like project number 1, so it's going to be a smaller version, and we're going to make these out of drop cloth. But again, I'm going to take my ruler, and I'm going to make that first little pattern, and that's the best way to me to get a good pattern for a tree. Is just double your fabric and use your ruler just to kind of, put it at a slant, make your tree as tall and as short as you want, drawing it off with your pencil. Once you get it the way you want it in the shape you want it, then just go in, you cut it out, and there's your pattern. And then you'll just want to do the same thing we did in project 1, just lay it down on another piece of fabric, pin it down, cut it out, and I stitch these up the same way, leaving the bottoms open. I'm going to throw them in the washing machine again so I can get that really good frazzled look. Once they come out of the dryer, this is what they look like. Like I say, we got some more gorillas here, but we're going to trim them up. And once we trim them up, it gives them a really good little frayed edge, and this is what they look like. And so now, y'all, we've got our IOD stamps. Why not stamps little Christmas trees? So I'm using the Croc stamps by Iron Orchid Designs, and I'm going to use gray ink, and I'm just going to ink them down really good. And like I've always told y'all, just hover over the center of the area that you want to put your stamp on and just lay it down. Try not to move it. Hold it down with one hand and work it around with your other hand until you feel like you've got the stamp securely down and you've got the ink all over the area that you want. Now this one, I'm going to get out my stencil, and I want it to look like part of my stencil is going to be kind of flowing off of my drop cloth. So I'm just going to lay the stencil down, and what part of the stencil gets on the cloth, that's great, and what doesn't. And like I say, it just makes it look like it's just kind of, cut off, and that's kind of what I was going for. So now I'm just going to take some more of that, pillow feeling, and I'm going to use a pencil, but the pencil wasn't doing anything, so I just felt like I had more control with my fingers. So just use your fingers, work it up in there, that little point. Now this tree I made a little bit longer and a little bit more slim, because I'm gonna attach it to a piece of scrap wood I've got, just to give you some more ideas of how you can use these little fabric trees. So I'm just going to stuff it, and then once I get it stuffed, then I'm going to go through with some hot glue, and I'll secure it across the bottom. Now I'm going to take this one, we're going to go in, we'll stuff it, and these, I'm going to use the bases of these. I'm going to use some little spindles, and these little spindles that I'm going to use to make the bases on these, I think you could probably purchase these at Hobby Lobby. I acquired them from a yard sale, and I got a whole bunch of little craft supplies bundled in all together, and I got a bunch of stuff for like $1, and I've had them for a little while, and I thought, what a perfect base for these little trees. And I'm showing you here of how you can stamp on each side of your tree. If you want to flip them around, and have two different patterns, you can. And here's the little spindles. Now I'm gonna I want to distress them. I'm going to chalk paint them white, but I want to be able to distress them. So I'm going to go over them with some watered down brown burnt umber craft paint. I just water it down a little bit, and I'm going to use that as a stain. I'm going to let that dry really good. And then I'm going to go over with my candle wax. I'm going to paint them a couple of coats with my linen white, and then I'm going to go over them with a plastic scraper and give them that distressed chippy look. Okay, now that the stain is dry, I'm just going to go over it with the candle wax. And I know if you've watched any of my videos, y'all have probably seen this green candle a million times. But if you're new to my channel, this is the way that I like to paint and distress my things. That way you don't have to use sandpaper. And to me, it's a lot less mess. And you get more of that chippy, distress look. And here's the little plastic scraper that I use. You could also use probably a credit card or a debit card or whatever you have. If you have an old one, that would also work. And look how cute these turned out. So I'm going to take these now, and like I say, I'm going to use these for the base of my little trees, and then I'm going to make a base once I get the little spindles on as the trunk. Then I'm going to take some jingle blocks, I'm going to paint them white, I'm going to hot glue two of them together and make just a little flat base to attach these to. Now you can make these any length you want. You can make them long. You can put more of the spindle up in there and make some shorter, so you can kind of stagger the heights of your trees if you want to do that. These, I think, turned out so cute, and I can't wait until Christmas gets here, because I definitely I'm going to make more of these, and I'm going to show you when I go to stage them of how you can embellish these, and there's so many things that you can put on these. Now here's the scrap piece of wood that I'm going to attach the long slender one to, just to give you another little idea of how you can use these little trees once you get them made. This was just a scrap piece that I had in my outbuilding, and I'm just going to use it the natural state it's in, because it looks rustic to me. And I'm just going to glue that little dowel down, and then I'm just going to hot glue the bottom of the tree and just kind of attach it to the board using a little bit of hot glue, and then I'm going to add a little messy bow to it. Okay, y'all, project number 3 is going to be a yard sale flip. I purchased this little metal church. It's actually designed for a little LED candle at the bottom, and I'm just going to take it, I'm going to spray paint it, and I'm going to show you some ways you can embellish it, and you can use it in your Christmas decor. Now, project number 4 is going to be some scrap wood Christmas decor that I made. And I love using scrap wood because, one, it's stuff I already have on hand. It's free to me. And a lot of times, just going out, I love to go out to the graphics fair and just shop their website. You know, there's so many free printables out there, but I love just to go out there and just see all the many vintage Santas and Christmas type graphics that they have. So that's what I did. But I'm just taking my scrap wood. I want it to have a darker base for when I distress it. So again, you know, I just went over it with some watered down craft paint. I went over it with my candle wax, and now I'm just going over it with my linen white, and then I'll distress it with my plastic scraper. And this is what you get after the plastic scraper. You get that really chippy distress look. And now I just went out to the graphics fairy, and they have a ton to select from, and I just printed these out. And y'all know when I do my graphics, a lot of times I like to just clip it out, and then I like to go around the edges, and I like to take some water and just wet my fingers and just go around the whole image and just kind of rip it. Gently rip it with your fingers, and then I'll go around it with some coffee grounds just to give it more of that aged look. And to me, I like this a lot better than just, you know, just cutting it out and it being square. It just gives it a little bit more detail and, I don't know, texture to it. And then I took it outside. I sprayed it with Gorilla Spray adhesive. To me, a lot of times I'd rather do this than use Mod Podge. You just spray the back of it, you lay it down, and it dries real quick, and it, you know, it's no mess. Now, I love this Santa Claus. He was so pretty. So I'm going to take him, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go around, kind of rip him around the edges, you know, give him that little coffee ground around the edges look, just to make him look more vintage and worn. And then I'll do the same thing. I'm going to apply him to the board with the Gorilla Spray adhesive. And then I'm just going to add some ribbons to these, and I think these make great pieces for your open shelving or your tiered trays around the holidays. Now let's move on to project 5. Now this project right here was a fun one, and it was Pinterest inspired. This is the picture of Pinterest, and when I saw those, I was like, you know what, I can make those. Now I have some random bottles. One, I think one of my sweet viewers sent me, and then one I think I got at a yard sale, and the one on the right with the red lid, that is just a salsa jar. So y'all, you know, just any kind of jar or whatever you have on hand will work. And I just went out, we spray painted them white. And then I'm going to add, I went out and I Googled Merry Christmas round labels. And these are a free printable, and I will link it down below of where I got these. And then I just went out and I resized them, because I want some that are a little smaller, and then for the larger jar, I'm going to use one that's going to be a little bit bigger. And I'm just going to apply these to the front of each of my jars using some Mod Podge, and you just want to get it, you know, I didn't want to get up there where it started to curve, because on that curve I was going to get wrinkles in my graphic. So I kept kind of scooting it down till I got it into more of a flat area, and then you just kind of want to smooth it out with your fingers. And I think these turned out so cute. Now this is the medium sized jar. Now I'm going to use just a little bit smaller of a graphic on it. And like I say, I just went out and resized it. And a lot of times you want to resize graphics, if you'll save them off onto your computer and then you go in and you open them, there should be an option when you go in your printer options. There should be an option there where you can resize your graphics before you print them. And that's how I resized them. Now, once I got the graphics applied to all of them, then I wanted to go in and embellish them like my inspiration from Pinterest. And y'all, I don't know about y'all, but I think everywhere right now is in a heat wave in July. It's over 100 degrees here, and a lot of my Christmas decor is either stored up in the attic or it's in an outbuilding. So we're going to get sweaty no matter what. But I did find one bin of some embellishments, and I did get my jars embellished, and I'll show them to you in just a minute. Now, I don't know if you watched my previous video, but my mother gave me an old hoe and an old shovel that she had. She watches my videos, and she knows I love to redo old gardening tools. So this is a gift from my mother. I love it. So it came like this. There was no handle to it, but she had hung on to it, so I guess it was meant for me to have it. So I'm going to go over it with my candle wax. I'm going to paint it white, and then I'm going to distress it. And I'm just going to give you some options of, just things like this. Just think outside the box with it. It gives you some unique decor, but you can also add some Christmas decorations to it and set it out for the Christmas season. So you've got a really unique item. And I could stencil on here, and I started to. And if you had a Merry Christmas stencil, or if you could, print something out on your Cricut, that would work too. I didn't really want to put something seasonal on it. That way I can change it out and just kind of keep it generic, and I can just embellish it, and keep it out all year long if I wanted to. But, if you want to do that, make it, put Merry Christmas on it or something like that, I think that would be beautiful. So I'm just going around now with a baby wipe. I use my plastic scraper and I distress, and then I always like to go back over it with a little baby wipe just to give it a little bit more distressing in some of the areas. And there's so many things now that you can do with this little shovel, but I'm just going to add some. These are some bells that I got last year. I think I got these at the Dollar Tree. If not, they probably come from Dollar General. But I decorated my home with them last year. I just added some Christmas garland and, a little vintage ribbon bow. Now, Project 7, this is another Pinterest-inspired project. I wanted to make this last year, and I went around trying to price some mittens or find mittens, and when I found them, they were pretty pricey, so I did not get to make them last year. Well, this year I thought, you know what, I'm going to make some out of drop cloth. But if you have those little sweatery like mittens, there you go, you're already a step up on me. But I'm going to just take my drop cloth, I'm going to double it, and I just went in and free-handed a pattern to use. I just kind of looked at my Pinterest picture, and I just kind of took a couple pieces of paper, I taped them together, and I made a mitten pattern. And then that's going to be what I'm going to, cut out. But you just pin it down, cut around it, and you'll want to make 2 of these. So you'll actually have 4 pieces. You want to have two pieces for each mitten. And again, I'm going to take these and I'm going to sew these on my sewing machine, just stitch around them. And you could also hot glue these if you want to. Now these also, you could stencil these, you could get your Cricut out, you could use your stamps on these. There's a lot of options you can do with these little mittens too. I'm not really committed right yet until it gets Christmas on what I want to do with them, but you'll probably see these again in upcoming videos. When it rolls around Christmas time, I will probably get my stencils out and do some kind of stenciling or stamps on them. But this is after they've been taken out of the washing machine and the dryer, and I've got that little fringy rustic edge on them now, and I'm just going around now just kind of trimming them up. And then you want to, when you do your pattern, you want to make it long at the top so you'll have enough fabric that you can roll down and make that cuff. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm just rolling it down, I'm making the little cuff, and once you get these put together, you can stuff these with anything you want. This is some greenery that I purchased last year, and I'm not sure where I purchased it, maybe Walmart, but I'm just going to put a few sprigs in each mitten. I put some pillow filler in it just to give it, some poof, and then you can hot glue these together. You can tie them together however you want to attach them. Like I say, I don't want to commit to them just yet. I want to wait till Christmas rolls around, and I may want to do something different with them. So I'm just going to attach them using a straight pin. That way I can take them back apart, and when Christmas does come and I know where I want to put them in my home, I have that versatility. But I did hot glue a little handle on them so I can hang them up, and that's just stained flour sackcloth, and I'm going to embellish them with one of those little chopstick bows. So I think these turned out really cute. So now I'm just going to let y'all see the many ways of how we can style these items that we just made for Christmas, and just let you listen to some really fun Christmas music.
All the happy smiles and the wishes, and I want it all, from the lights to the mistletoe. Tell me one thing, is there anything that you're missing? I will keep you warm as soon as you remove that snow. Whatever we do, we will be alright. These holiday wonders will open your mind. May all your wishes tonight come true. The love I lived, the dream I knew. This Christmas I only wanna be close to you. Hey. Whatever we do, we will be alright. These holiday wonders will open your mind. May all your wishes tonight come true. The love I lived, the dream I knew. Well, I'm all for Christmas. It's a magical time full of kisses. Take a walk outside and tickle the snowman's nose. Moving nimbly, did you hear something from the chimney? I will keep you warm as soon as you...
Okay, y'all, we're getting to the end of the video. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I hope y'all enjoyed seeing all the little rustic, primitive, shabby chic little Christmas decor pieces that, you know, I made out of some burlap and some drop cloth and some yard sale flips. And don't forget to go out and check out the playlist down below in my description box, and go out and check out all the other great Christmas in July holly jolly Christmas videos. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. I love y'all, and I plan to see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all.